could lay off a significant part of its workforce.
There are 87 job cuts announced, and that was up 43% from.
General Motors will resume layoffs of roughly 4,000 workers.
Statistic, there have been more than 2,000 people that have lost their jobs in Central Florida through mass layoffs.
A layoff is the termination of a group or part of a group within a workforce, from 2 or 20 employees to hundreds or thousands of employees. The Great Recession, which occurred from 2007 to 2009, resulted in 8.7 million layoffs throughout America. Until now, there has not been a time in which mass layoffs have been this prevalent. Now, in 2019, job layoffs have gone up to 35%, the highest percent to start a year in a decade. This is the Disposable American. In this documentary, we will highlight the effects of being laid off to a person and how the mass job losses prevalent in 2019 are increasing these effects on the average American. Being laid off can lead to adverse mental and financial effects. In order to gain more insight to the process of laying workers off, we contacted the director of Stellar Care Services, an upcoming agency located in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I am the owner and chief operating officer for Stellar Care Services. And basically that encompasses seeing everything that impacts operations, from production, quality assurance, human resources, client relations. I kind of oversee everything.
Why do you feel that people get laid off, and what do you believe is the main reason given your experience or what you have seen?
People usually get laid off because the company or organization has merged with another company or has been bought by another company. When the finances become an issue and they have to find a way to lower their usually overhead costs. And overhead costs is anything that isn't production. So usually production or service drive income. And if you run into a situation where you're not making the income that you should, you eliminate staff, because staff is usually the most money that companies spend. So those are the customary reasons that layoffs occur.
In order to gain an alternative perspective of laying off employees, we then asked Ms. Benson to explain her experiences of having to lay off the people that worked for her.
I've had the experience where a company's been bought by another company, and so they eliminate redundancy. So redundancy is when you have two people that pretty much do the same thing. So customarily, the company that's purchasing the other company will reduce overhead and reduce staff in the company that they're purchasing. So I've been the company that was purchased. I've been the company that did the purchase. I've been when two companies merge, and also when there's downsizing due to a need of what they call reduction in force. So the one, I guess, that was the most impactful for me was when the research and development firm that I was the director of operations for lost their largest client, which meant that they had to do a severe reduction in force, and I had to facilitate the layoff of about 350 employees.
How does this affect the average American?
I don't know a single person who's ever been laid off who wasn't very adversely affected and either had to exhaust, their severance package in addition to their, unemployment benefits. Hopefully they were able to find a job that, they were able to start before unemployment ran out, but there's a lot of instances where that's not the case either, where, they've pretty much utilized their entire severance package and all of the weeks available that they had through unemployment and still haven't found a job.
In order to gain a new perspective, we decided to get the story of someone who's been laid off in the past.
Yes, I've been laid off before. The company I worked for was MCI WorldCom. I got laid off in 2002. I think 2002. And basically what led to the layoff, the owner of the company overinflated the stock price to defraud its investors, and the company went belly up. So I was one of 15,000 people that was laid off.
Being laid off can greatly affect an individual mentally and financially.
Big companies, they don't care. Unfortunately, they don't care. So, watching the news and stuff and hearing them say, how sad it is that GM don't care for their employees is true. It's a business, we're numbers, it doesn't matter. All the bags, and please, for this community, it's not going to make a difference. I know.
So how did this affect you mentally?
How did it affect me mentally? Scared. It's the first time I'd ever been without a job. Didn't know what I was going to do. It was my first real career, full-time job. So yeah, it's real scared. First time I've been without a job since I was 13.
So how did you overcome this?
I was able to find a job with a family member, and I was one of the lucky few. I was able to find a job within 2-3 weeks versus a lot of people that it took them a couple of years to find a job.
How did this affect you financially, and what major financial adjustments did you have to make since the job loss?
Financially, I took a serious hit. Reason being, I was supposed to get about 9 months severance, and because I got laid off on a Friday, the company filed for bankruptcy on Monday, so the severance that they were supposed to pay everyone got put on hold. So the money that I was owed, I didn't get until I actually returned to the company about 12 months later. So one, I had to downsize an apartment. That was the major thing. I went from paying $1,200 a month in rent, and I found a place for $600. So that cut a lot of my spending expenses in half. A lot of ramen noodles and ham sandwiches. No more eating out. No more shopping. I had 3 cars at the time. I got rid of 2 of the cars. So I got rid of a lot of excess spending that I had during the month.
Okay, thank you for your time.
Is that it?
We decided to get the perspective of someone whose father has been laid off in the past. Have you ever had a parent laid off?
Yes. When I was about 13 years old, my dad got laid off from his job.
How did this affect you and your family financially and emotionally?
Well, financially, we had to start budgeting. We couldn't go out. We couldn't do all the stuff that we used to when he had his job. It was just a whole struggle. And emotionally, we just were all sad all the time. It wasn't all that.
From an outside perspective, how did this affect your parents?
Well, they were stressed most of the time, so it wasn't.
Do you think this changed you or your relationship with your parents at all?
Yes, I do think it changed my relationship with my parents. I became really close to my dad at that time because he was always stressed, and as a daughter, you want to comfort your dad, at the time of need. So yeah, it did make us closer.
Do you think it's fair that your dad was laid off?
No, I really do not think that it is fair that my dad got laid off because he had not done anything to deserve that, so no.
Mass layoffs, which are at its highest rate since 2009, have many mental and financial effects that need to be combated with possible programs that can help those who are caught up in this situation, or more protests against this unfair job loss with no support provided.